Welcome to Beneath the Surface, a space where real stories live and healing begins. I'm your host, Donovan Sykes, and here we dive deep into the layers of life, the trauma, the pain, the resilience, and the power that it takes to overcome. Whether you are healing, growing, or simply trying to make sense of it all, you're not alone. So let's go beneath the surface. And on today's episode entitled Loving Old Habits. For me, I was never afraid of love. I knew how to give it and I knew how to receive it. But one thing that I didn't know is that my characteristic traits and how I possessed my love to be became a silent killer for me that I wasn't aware of. And this episode is merely about recognizing the difference between being emotionally available and emotionally aware, and how healing isn't about learning love, it's about unlearning survival. And the first part of this, I want to just talk about the pursuit and what the pursuit looks like, but how the pursuit is going to come in a form of love bombing. So for me, the best relationship that I've ever encountered are the relationship that met me at a point in my life when I was aware and conscious of what life started to be. I was out at the club one particular night and I was with a group of friends, and I was standing on the patio deck outside, and they have a door that leads to the patio deck. So I was standing at the deck, smoking, drinking, whatever I was doing. And a guy walks out and he immediately captures my attention. He walks out, I see him, and I'm stunned because he was a very attractive guy. And then I looked at him and I just nodded my head and he smiled. And his teeth, oh, his teeth were so beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? He smiled at me and he went back inside. So in my mind, I'm like, I gotta find out who this dude is. I really gotta find out who this dude is. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait until after the club and see if he's gonna be at the let out. And typically I would not wait outside. I would kind of leave maybe 10 minutes before the club lets out. But this time I'm like, I gotta see him. I didn't see him outside. I'm like, damn, I missed my opportunity to introduce myself. So at this time I was working for Amazon. And I just happened to be on my route. I was on Jack at the time, and I get a notification based off of the area I was in. And he was like, "It's you." And when I say I was so ecstatic to know the fact that this was the guy that I was looking for, like this the guy that I seen at the club, that made me feel based off of just the visual encounter. He made me feel. I didn't know what it was, but I was drawn to him already. So after we finally exchanged numbers, we began to talk. I think we talked approximately for 2 days before I asked him out on a date. I would never forget. I asked him out on a date, and I told him he was in agreement to going on a date. And I told him I was going to pick him up at a certain time. And I also told him to comfortable dress comfortable. And the irony of it is, we didn't stay far from each other. We stayed maybe 8 minutes down the road from one another. And so I told him to dress comfortable. I was going to pick him up. So I pull up, I pick him up. I got some roses in the front seat. Now, this is my first time seeing him in the flesh. I think we FaceTime, but in the flesh, that was my first time seeing him when I picked him up for the date. So I pull up to his apartment. He walks out. He's not dressed comfortably. He got on like some pants and a shirt and some shoes. So he seen the roses on the seat. He opened the door and I was like, those are for you. And then he gets in the car and he says, I say, I told you to dress comfortable. He said, this ain't comfortable. I was like, no. He was like, you want me to go change? I said, yes. So He goes inside, he goes to change. I'm like, short shirt, maybe some flip flops or something, whatever. So he comes back, he was dressed comfortable. He didn't know where we were going. And where we were going was to one of my favorite spots that I like to like just detach from the world, and it brings me peace. And I'm like, what the perfect date to take someone to a place that you find your peace and just have conversation and learn more about him. So before we got there, I had put like a little throw blanket in my car because I know it's the beach, it's nighttime, so it can be get a little windy. So I just had all the things just in preparation, just in case. So we pull up to the seawall, Galveston seawall. We get out. As I expected, it was very windy. So I opened the trunk and I grabbed a little throw blanket or whatever and I put it around him and we walked the beach. Our first day, we walked the beach and we just talked. We talked about life and I asked him questions. I remember some questions like, if you could meet anyone in this world, who would it be and why? I asked questions along the lines of, if you could be any animal, what would it be and why? And I remember my response was, I would be a bird. I was like, because a bird is just so free, and I resonate with the bird just being free. Um, and that was just the nature of the conversation that we had. He told me some interesting things. I told him some interesting things. And after we left there, headed back to Houston, we stopped at the Waffle House. I got an All Star special, and he got the same thing. And we sat in the car in the Waffle House parking lot. We sat in the car on my phone. I put on Judge Judy, and I just set the phone on the dashboard, and we sat and watched Judge Judy while we ate Waffle House. And that was the first time that I felt love in a long time, just based off of that simple encounter. A simple encounter. And I dropped him off and I said, I hope I can see you again. And he said, you definitely will see me again. Fast forward, right at that time, we were definitely at the peak of COVID. And that's how we became one, because COVID happened and we were just getting to know each other. And when COVID happened, everybody was like confined to a space. And so me and him were confined to that space with one another. So, in a sense, we were like forced upon each other. Even though we desired that feeling from one another, we were like forced on each other. And so it created us to be around each other for a lengthy period of time. And we just got closer and closer and closer together. But I also knew, a part of me knew then, let me not say then because I didn't know. What I know now, I'm able to know what it was then. I was love bombing him. Even though love was my first language, I was love bombing him because if I shared my authentic self with him out the gate, my chances of actually being with him probably would have been slim to none. So I had to shower him with what I knew worked best for me. And one thing I always know is I may not be perfect in anything else in life, but the way I love a person, they're going to know, despite the makeup of me or the characteristics that I happen to possess, they're going to know that I love them because I show it in every aspect. And then you would say, well, if it's love, then all of the other things would not be associated with you. Well, I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that. The makeup of me is just the makeup of me, and how I love is how I love. But I was love bombing him because I made it my business to make sure he fell in love before I shared who I was. And some of those things are one of the main things that I didn't share is what I did for work. Me being like this sex worker, I didn't share that because I knew just based off of the caliber and how he presented himself, I kind of knew who he was. Like his aura spoke for him before he even opened his mouth. How he carried himself spoke for him before he even opened his mouth. So I kind of knew, like, if I tell this man who I am, this ain't gonna be what it is. But I knew if he fell in love, he was not going to be able to detach himself. So the pursuit comes in the form of love bombing, and you got to be mindful for that. You really got to be mindful of, I'm going to get all of these things at the beginning, but who is really underneath? And remind you, I didn't go in with the intent of having the mindset of me love bombing him. I just thought that this is my natural self. Take it or leave it when you do find out. So I remember I told him it's going to be many a layers that I begin to peel off with myself. And I said that because I was hopeful that when I began to share with him who I was, it didn't scare him or run him off. Is why I said I'm going to peel back a many layers of myself. And that's how I got him. I got him because I loved him in a way that he had never been loved, or so I thought. Um, that's the pursuit. That's the pursuit. We're gonna do what is necessary in order to get what we desire. Is why I now no longer tell a person what it is that I desire. I let them be who they are, and then I will tell them based off of what I see if I desire them or not. Because me and him just having conversations, I became the man that I knew he desired. Not in a fabrication way, because I possess those characteristic traits to be that man. But when he learned the real me in the totality of the real me, I wouldn't have been ideal to him. And I know that to be true. I wouldn't have been ideal. So I just want you to remember the first part of understanding and recognizing what you're supposed to give a person comes at who you are as a person. You can't give somebody something that you don't have, or something or a mental space that you are not currently at. You can't give them that if you're unaware of it. And for me, it was simply just work. It was just work. Even though I didn't believe in monogamy, even though I tried to suppress that all my life, I still knew how to separate this is just work for me. But it also came out of survival. I was one who was not going to let anyone tell me how to provide for myself. If you can't do for me what I need done, don't tell me how to do for me. It's how I seen it. And it was just like, you're going to either take that or leave that. But that's why I entitled this Loving Old Habits, because survival is a habit. And sometimes that's all we know is survival. And we're not going to jeopardize survival for any sake of love. Or at least that's how I was then. So all those things again started to come about. And there was one. And then the drug addiction that he didn't know anything about. I recall times where he was riding with me back and forth to pick up pills. Unbeknown to him, he didn't know why we continued to go to these same spots over and over. And then he eventually caught on. And when he caught on, I kind of blamed it on my sister. I'm like, I've been picking up something from my sister. All along, it was me. But I ain't want to tell this man that I had no pill habit. Here you come with all these things. You done love bomb me, made me think that you just this nice guy, especially based off of how you love. And you do all of this. This is who you really are. This ain't what it is. This ain't what it is. But one thing that I've learned that was so valuable was I seen a man who loved himself more. Even though he loved me, he loved himself more because he grappled with the fact of this ain't what it is for me. Who I was not what it was for him. It's like, yeah, I love you, but you come with too much. And he fought himself over and over and over again. He fought himself going against what his core values were for himself based off of him loving me. And sometimes you do get wrapped up with the wrong person when you happen to have fallen in love. But me seeing a person love themselves the way that he did was a reflection to how I thought I loved myself. Because couldn't nobody tell me nothing about self love. You couldn't tell me nothing. But God really opened my eyes when He allowed me to cross paths with this individual because I didn't know what self love was. It was so many things that He taught me as a man that you would have thought that I would have just known. I mean, so many things. We can even go as deep as I'm not going to go that deep, but he taught me so many things just based off of simply loving himself. And I can say to today's time, I have never met a person who has loved me the way that I love except him. And I say this relationship has taught me more than any heartbreak could have ever. It has shown me that love is not just a feeling, it's a skill. And sometimes you have to relearn the skill. It taught me how to take accountability. It taught me how to communicate properly. It taught me to never suppress who I am for the sake of loving someone because ultimately it's going to hurt them. It taught me that. That was the growth that I got out of it. But it also taught me how to love myself properly, how to love myself properly, knowing that I love you, but I have to leave you and I choose me. I've never really chosen me. Anything and anyone, it didn't really matter what you came with. I could deal with it. The way that I love myself now, I wouldn't dare deal with certain things. I ain't dealing with anything because dealing with is putting up with. I don't have to deal with anything. If it's something I want, I ain't dealing with it. You see how that goes? So we don't understand why we cross paths with some people, but there's a lesson with everyone you cross paths with. It just depends on how you receive it and how you apply it to your life in order to elevate. I would never forget that love, even though it had so many ups and downs. And it has also even taught me my purpose within it. Because some of the things that we've experienced together that I've already experienced first, I was able to help us overcome because of the life that I've experienced before encountering this individual. So it taught me my purpose as well. It just was so many valuable things that came out of this. And one thing I say is I don't regret the connection that I had with this individual at all. And I'm hoping one day that we can even have a conversation. I don't know what he's doing in life. I think the last I've heard is he had a family. And if you do happen to see this, congratulations to you. You truly deserve it, and no disrespect to you and whomever your partner may be. Um, but I thank you. I thank you for being the man that you were when I so happened to encounter you, because you have a big part in the man that I am today. You play a big role in the man that I am today. I also ask for forgiveness of self inflicted pain that I've once placed on you. I ask for your forgiveness. And I sincerely apologize. I was just living life, and where I was at that point in my life is just where I was at that point in my life. Had I not experienced you, I probably would still be there. You see, the gift of real love is something that teaches. It's not just a feeling. Real love is going to teach, and you're going to carry it throughout the rest of your life. You're going to carry it. So when you got, let me say this, never suppress who you are for the sake of being with someone or for the gain of anything in life. That's why I'm an open book, because I refuse to hurt anyone, but I refuse to deny myself of who or what I desire. I will never, ever. This is what it is. This is me. Currently, right now, I'm working on my podcast. Currently, right now, I'm still on OnlyFans. Currently, right now, I still see clients. This is where I'm at right now. You want it or you don't. It's an option. But don't say you are in agreement with it. Get in and then try to change things. That's what I did. But see, now that I know and I'm aware that I know I can't go into anything being someone that I'm not, because it's only going to create issues, I tell you at the door if I can do it, if I can't. Let me know your boundaries. Let me know what you're into and what you're not. And I'm going to tell you if we'll work or not. I'm not going to put myself in it in hopes of us working. If I believe in monogamy and you don't, we will not work. It's plain and simple. We won't work. We're going to clash because our views on something that is so important, we're going to clash all the time, because I'm going to have the desires to do certain things that you're not even going to understand. And it's okay that you don't understand it. But I'm not going into something knowing that this is a deal breaker for me or not. I had to learn how to do that. You also got to learn how to do that. Stop suppressing who you are for people and tell a person what it is and give them the option to choose if there's something that they want to do or not. But even now, even if a person comes in my life and then they say that they're okay with everything that I got going on, and the minute they come in and get comfortable, as they do, and start to switch up, I'm not having a conversation about it. Oh, it's an issue now? I'm gone. That's how much I love myself, because now you're disrupting my peace. Because you had the choice and you made the choice, and this was something that you were in agreement to. We make our own lives complicated by getting with people who we should not be with. If you know that I'm too much and my image is too much, leave me alone. And I don't have business messing with certain people when I know what their image is. Just because I know my capabilities, I'm not there yet. So I have to date where I am. Do they see the potential? Yes, but I'm not there yet. I'm not getting with you just to be getting with you, because I know that you're gonna be great or you're gonna do great. I would love for that to be my reality because I know who I am, but I can't expect nobody else to know that. I know who I am. I know that I could do all these things in love and be honest and communicate well, never cheat, loyal. I can be all these things to my partner. Do my partner know that though? Do my partner believe that? And does my partner want to even be associated with someone of such? So you really gotta know. You really gotta know. Um, but that also comes with loving yourself beyond human understanding. When you know yourself, you're not going to deal with certain things. But when you love yourself, you're also not going to tolerate certain things. I ain't tolerating nobody who lies. I ain't tolerating nobody who cheats. And that comes with loving myself because I don't need you. I want you. And that's where he was then. And that's where I am now. Is why I can say he was a reflection to me. He was what I thought I was, but what I wanted to be. And now I am him. I am him. So you're going to love me in the way that I feel fit to be loved. And if your love is not something that I desire, I won't require it. It's that simple. And now this was I had to this video was supposed to be made last week. I had got a little under the weather and so I had to postpone and push it back. But I'm not gonna lie, speaking by myself is very tedious and it makes it harder. I can't wait till I start having my co-hosts or just my guests because I love dialogue. I love communication with another person. So it's more difficult for me to do it this way to just talk. When I just make my spare of the moment videos, it just be something that pops in my head. But to try and come and sit and then tell my story in chronological order, it can be a bit overwhelming. Um, so I can't wait till I get better with production. So I'll be able to just have that conversation, make it witty, make it fun, great moments, punchlines, and that's what I'm ready for. I know that that is what's going to elevate my podcast. I know that. I'm praying for that. In due time, though, in due time, I'm gonna close this just by simply saying, um, choose yourself. Choose yourself first. Love yourself. But also, before you decide to get with somebody, you need to go and heal. You need to go and work on some things because a lot of you don't even understand. You don't even understand why you do half of the things that you do. You need to go put words to the feelings or words to your actions and determine what that is and what that looks like. See, I did self examination and I've answered all of the issues and the questions that I've had with myself. So now when someone comes along and they have a question, I can answer it. Whether you decide to like that answer or not, that's a you thing. But I could answer every question now because I'm aware of who I am. Loving old habits. Don't go out there and hurt nobody because you're selfish and you desire them. But the only thing that you really desire is in the moment. Because if you desire something long term with a person, you'll still be together with them. Anything that doesn't work is because you didn't really desire that person. You desire the thought of what could have been. I hope you receive this in the way it definitely was intended to be delivered. And no matter where you are in your journey, this is your space, your story, your voice, my mic. Until next time on Beneath the Surface. I love you.